Do you think why I'm giving you quizzes and homeworks? Do you think why? I know student does not or don't like quizzes or homeworks or exams, but for this course, why I'm insisting to give you quizzes every week, homeworks one every week? Why? Do you think why? Any answer? Why you are taking quizzes every week, homeworks? Yes, yeah, I like your answers, but in my mission, in my philosophy in teaching, quizzes and homeworks are made to make mistakes. When you are solving quizzes, homeworks, I would like you to do mistake to avoid these mistakes in exams. We will have 13 quizzes, probably, and the same for homeworks. 13 times for 20% of this course, 13 times of homework for 20%, but we have only one time exam for 20%. So we are training for quizzes and homeworks to do mistakes, to learn from our mistakes, to avoid these mistakes during the exam. So if you did some mistakes in quiz, please go ahead and learn from your mistake. Also for homeworks. By the way, by the end of the semester, I will drop the lowest 3 quizzes. I will drop the lowest 3 homeworks. So I'm trying to help. But the main purpose of these quizzes and homework to train yourself to avoid any mistakes during the exam. Okay. Just to remind you, homework solution, the solution of homework 1 is available right now for homework solutions. So you can review your homework number 1, complete solution in details. Okay. So you received your score in homework 1. I believe you can go back and see what's wrong in your homework. Then you can make a comparison between your solution and my solution to see who is the correct one. The second thing, during the homework, I have some student did some mistakes. Guys, I told you before, sometimes we have a force F, whatever the value, and we have right angle triangle 3, 4, that means this one is 5. We would like to break this force to horizontal component and vertical component. Go ahead and pick up an angle. But remember, angle equal another angle in 2 situations only, like Z shape. So this angle equal to this one, Z shape. Or we have 2 parallel and 1 intersection. So this angle equal to this one. So when you are selecting your angle, so probably I will select this one. Here is my angle, theta. Which angle inside the right angle triangle equal theta, I believe if you apply Z shape, you will find this angle theta equal to this one. Nothing else. Nothing else. So your right angle triangle based on your selection of angle theta equal to this one, and this value 3, 4, and 5. Another student don't like my selection. Here is the force, here is the right angle triangle, and here are the two components. He would like to select this angle as theta. It's up to you, okay? But where is the Z shape? Do you find any Z shape? No. I find this line and this little line, and we have one intersection. So you select this angle theta, it will equal to this one by this relationship. So at this moment, your angle theta will be this one, your right angle triangle. Here is the angle theta, here is 3 and 4 and 5. Only two situations. Z shape, so this angle equal to this one if you have Z shape. Or we have two parallel lines and one intersection. That means this angle equal to this one. This is the first point. The second point. I agree with you that this component will be F cosine. And this component will be F sine based on the selected angle theta. Sine theta equal 3/5. Cosine theta equal 4/5. The second mistake some student did during the homework, guys, sine theta, the whole term, sine theta, the whole term equal 3/5. That means please remove sine theta and put 3/5. Some student did something like this, sine 3/5, and did it with calculator. That's wrong. That's wrong. I didn't tell you the angle theta equal 3/5 or 3/5. No, sine theta, the whole term, sine theta equal 3/5. So go ahead and remove sine theta and put 3/5. The same. Cosine theta as a whole term, please remove it and put 4/5. So with your calculator, multiply the force by 4/5, you can get the vertical component. Multiply force by the force by 3/5, you can get the horizontal component. It's a fatal mistake to do something like this, sine 3/5 or cosine 4/5. That's wrong. That's wrong. We can do sine 30, sine 40, sine 50 if you have the angle. Any questions so far? Some students did these mistakes during the homework. Please don't do it again. One more thing. It's common to use X direction, this X direction as a positive direction, and this Y direction as your positive direction. Anything else should be negative. Anything else, like this direction, it should be negative in X. Like this direction, it should be negative in Y. Guys, sometimes we have, here is X, here is Y, and we have two forces, F1 with angle 30, and we have another force, F2, with angle 20 with F1. So if you are talking about F1, your angle with the horizontal will be 30. if you are talking about F2, your angle with the horizontal, we would like to break each force to two components, one horizontal and one vertical. So your angle must be with the horizontal or with the vertical. So your angle for F2 must be 50, not 20. Not 20. But the total angle for F2 with the horizontal must be 50, 30 plus 20. Last 2 points, please respect the due date. You have to respect the due date. The system or the website will not allow you to submit any assignment after the due date. The last thing I found, very few students doing some calculation I didn't cover in my class. Probably they got this solution from a different resource. So be careful from cheating. Don't try to cheat. I have a good experience that I can judge if this solution from the student or from a different resource. So please be careful. Last point, I'm sorry, the last one. Try during your homework, your quiz, and your exam to gain points. Probably you don't know how to solve the problem completely, but you can try yourself to gain points. Anybody can tell me, last week and this week, what is the first step in any problem? Whatever the idea of the problem, whatever the given information or the given data, whatever, last week or this week, what is the first step? Do you know what is the first step? Can you tell me, any student can tell me what is the first step to solve any problem during last week and this week also? Draw forces. Okay, what else? Components. Yes. First step, whatever the required, whatever the given, you have to break each force to two components. At least. This is the first step. Whatever the next, I don't know. Probably you cannot figure out what is going on in the problem. But the first step, at least, you have to break each force to two components. If you can do this, you can gain points. It's not 10 from 10, but at least 7 from 10. You know what I mean? So please try to gain points during solution, during quiz or exams. Many students didn't do anything in the quiz. They cannot understand how to break any force to two components. That means you have problem. You have a big problem. As I told you, the solution of homework 1 is available. The lecture notes are available. The recorded videos are available. So anybody can tell me what else I can do for you. I believe the next step, but I cannot do it, to get a cup of water with the information and ask you to drink this cup of water with the material. But I cannot do this. Let's start our topic today. Last time on Monday, I started to talk about forces but these forces are in equilibrium. These forces are in equilibrium. The only thing, if you have forces in equilibrium, the final answer is summation of all horizontal components equals 0. Summation of all vertical components equals 0. First step, you have to break each force to 2 components. Second step, go ahead and apply these 2 equilibrium equations. That's it. We solved one example. Let's try to solve this example and one more today. We have concurrent forces. Concurrent means many forces intersect at one point, point O. F1, F2, F3 equal 5 kilonewton, F4 equal 7 kilonewton. Actually, F1 is unknown with angle theta, which is given 45 degrees. So angle theta is given 45 degrees, but F1 is unknown. And F2 also is unknown. And I'm looking for what is the value of F1 and F2. I don't care about what is required. We have a system of fluid. F1, F2, F3, F4. F1 and F2 unknowns. Angles are given. F3 and F4 are given. We are looking for what is the value of F1 and F2 if these forces are in equilibrium. First step, like last module, first step, we need to break each force to 2 components. Let's try with F1. Here is F1. I don't know what is the value of F1. Here is the horizontal component, and here is the vertical component. What is the given? We have angle here theta equal 45 degrees. So the horizontal component will be F1 cosine 45. The vertical component is F1 sine 45. The next one, the next force, F2, here is F2. Be organized in your solution. So if you have a mistake by the end of the problem, I can give you partial credit. Please, can you mute your mic? F2, we are looking for horizontal component, vertical component, and the given angle 70 with the vertical. So the horizontal component will be F2 sine 70. The vertical component will be F2 cosine 70. What else? The next force, let's try F3. We have F3 in this direction. F3 is given, how much? 5 kilonewton. I'm looking for horizontal component and vertical component. The given angle theta 30 by the horizontal. So I can say the horizontal component is 5 cosine 30. The vertical component will be 5 sine 30. What else? The last force, which is F4 equal 7. We don't have angle, but we have right angle triangle. It's given 4, 3, 5. We are looking for horizontal component and vertical component. So please pick up an angle. So I will select this angle. By Z shape, this angle equal to this one by Z shape. So if I assume this one phi, so this component will be 7 cosine phi. This one will be 7 sine phi. This right angle triangle here, be careful. 4, 3, 5, here is the angle phi. So sine phi equal 3/5. Cosine phi equal 4/5. Guys, be careful. Some student, be careful. Sine phi equal 3/5. So I will remove sine phi and put 3/5. So your final 3/5. So your final value will be 7 times 3/5 equal 4.2. Don't write something like this. Sine 3/5. It's a mistake. Cosine phi is 4/5. So, I'm sorry, 7 times 0.8, 5.6. Do you have any more forces? No. These forces are in equilibrium. That means if you add horizontal component of this force plus this horizontal component of this force plus horizontal component of this one plus horizontal component of this one equals 0. But be careful about the sign. What you mean? Summation of all horizontal component x equals 0. So, because your forces are in equilibrium, then F1 cosine 45, which is positive. This direction is positive. Plus F2 sine 70, which is positive. Plus F2 sine 70. This horizontal component is negative direction, minus 5 cosine 30. Minus 5 cosine 30. What else? Don't forget any. Minus, this direction is negative, minus 5.6. Don't forget any. All of these horizontal components, summation of all of these horizontal components are equal 0. Please go ahead and simplify this equation. Cosine 45 equal 0.71 F1. Sine 70 equal 0.94 F2. And this turns to the other side of the equation. 5 times cosine 30, it will be 9.93. And there is the first equation. We have the first equation. Second equation, summation of all vertical components are equal 0. What do you have? Vertical component here is negative direction, negative F1 sine 45 degree. Negative F1 sine 45 degree. What else? This vertical component is positive. Be careful about the sign. Be careful to not to forget any component. So plus F2 cosine. The next component, this one is positive. 5 sine 30 plus 5 sine 30. The last component, this one which is negative 4.2. Negative 4.2 equals 0. Please simplify this equation. So cosine 45 will be negative 0.71 f1 plus cosine 70, this value 0.34 f2 equal, this one is negative, this one is positive, so 5 times sine 30 minus 4.2 to the other side will be 1.7. Second equation. Guys, be careful. This value is negative. This value is negative. If you moved both of them to the other side, it will be positive. If you move any term from one side to another side of equation, you have to change the sign. So positive will be negative, negative will be positive. Okay, be careful about this point. So we have two equations. I set up two equations. Both of them are functions of f1 and f2. I can solve them together to figure out the value of f1 and the value of f2. I will use my calculator to figure out the solution of these equations. Point 0.94, 9.93, negative 0.71, 0.34, 1.7. So F1 will be 1.95 and F2 will be 9.1. I think kilonewton. So the final answer, the value of F1 equal 1.95 kilonewton and F2 9.1 kilonewton. If you go back to the problem, we are looking for what determines the magnitude of F1 and F2 to make this system of fluids in equilibrium. First step, you have to break each force to two components. Second step, summation of all horizontal components equals 0. Summation of all vertical components equals 0. So we have two equations, solve them together to figure out what are the unknowns in your problem. Any question? No. You can use the actual value from the beginning. You don't need to wait until to set up your equation. 5 cosine 30, what is the value? You can get it. That's fine. Okay. But if you solve your problem with this sequence, so I can figure out if you have if your final answer is wrong. So I will go back my grading. I will go back to see what was the wrong. Many students during the homework did a wrong with the sign. So for example, this direction is negative direction. They put it positive. So you will lose only 1 point. 1 point. So your final answer is wrong. However, your final answer is wrong, but you will get 9 from 10. Everything is wrong because you only, the little mistake you did, you forget the sign. This one should be negative and you put it positive. Many students did this mistake. Okay, so please try to put everything in your solution, all details. Try to set up your equation. Don't skip any details. I like this way in solution. So I can go back to figure out what was the mistake if you have a mistake. Okay. Another example. We have F1 and F2 and 60, 3 forces, but F1 and F2 are unknown. And we are looking to calculate the values or the magnitude of F1 and F2. If this point F, or these system of fluids are in equilibrium. First step, you need to break each force to two components. For example, F1, this direction, so will be broken into two components. This one will be F1 cosine 40. This one will be for F1 sine 40. For F2, two components, horizontal, vertical. This angle is given 20. So F2 cosine 20, F2 sine 20. Third force, which is 60 pound. Actually, we don't have horizontal component or vertical component. So your horizontal, I'm sorry, you don't have horizontal component. Your horizontal component will be 0. Your vertical component will be 60 in negative sign. That's it. Go ahead and apply summation f of x equals 0. All horizontal component. First one negative, f1 cosine 40. Second one will be positive, f2 cosine 20. Third one is 0, equals 0. Summation of all forces in y direction equals 0. So first force, we have positive, f1 sine 40. Second one, we have positive, f2 sine 20. Third one, we have negative 60, equals 0. So I can set up two equations to solve them together to figure out the value of F1 and the value of F2. Very easy, very simple. But the first step, how to break your force to two components. If you cannot, please go back to the 3 videos recorded last week and try to learn how to break force to two components. Example number 4. That means we still have 2 more next time. Example number 4, we have 2 cables. The first one, AC. The second one, CB. These 2 cables are supported here on a hook or support or something like this at A and B on the wall. And these 2 cables, we have a weight cylinder. The weight of this cylinder equal 10 kilogram. Can you tell me what is the force, what is the tension force in this cable and this cable? This weight is going down. Something you need to understand about weight. Weight of anything must be, this weight must be in Newton or kilonewton. However, this weight is given by 10 kilogram. So you need to multiply it by gravity, acceleration of gravity, which is G, which is 9.81 meter per second square. If you did this, your value will be in Newton. So 10 times 9.81, your value will be 98.1 Newton. The weight of anything should be in Newton or kilonewton. If the weight is given in kilogram, please go ahead and multiply this value by acceleration of gravity. In this case, 9.81 is the value of G. So if you multiply 10 kilogram by 9.81, the weight value will be 98.1 Newton. Your weight must be in Newton or kilonewton. If the weight is given in Newton, that's it. You don't need to do anything. I'm talking about only one case. I believe you have the same issue in homework. No, the homework is not a problem. But the only problem here for problem number 3 in the homework, the problem said we have weight 50 pounds and the drawing say it's 30 pounds. So you can choose one of them. So please remove 30 and put it 50 pounds, not 30. So it's okay. The weight is given by pound or kib, that's fine. If you remember, pound or kib are units for US unit. But if you are talking about SI unit, we have two different system of unit. So we are talking about Newton or kilonewton. But if the weight is given in kilogram, please go ahead and multiply this kilogram by gravity, acceleration of gravity to get it in Newton. But if it's given in Newton, in pound, that's it. You don't need to do anything. It's okay. That's fine. Okay. So what's the problem right now? The problem is we have point called C. At point C, we have vertical weight. Any weight must be vertical to down. Your weight, your body, the weight is down, vertical downward. So any weight, the direction is down and vertical. So we have a vertical force here. How much? 98.1 Newton. At point C, we have a cable in this direction. We can call the force in this cable FCB with angle theta. And we have another force here. In the other cable, we can call it FCA. So I converted this problem to something like this. At this point is in equilibrium. So we have vertical force coming from this weight of the cylinder. We have another force in this cable, and we have another force in that cable. This shape can be called something called free body diagram, FBD. Free body diagram. What you mean by free body diagram? I converted the real problem to a new schematic problem. I can show you which force do you have. We have forces like this and this and that. We need to solve this system of fluid. 98.1, FCB is unknown, FCA is unknown, angle theta is also unknown. Wow, we have 3 unknowns. Angle theta is not given. So we need to figure out what is the value of angle theta. Okay, I will. Sorry. Redraw. We have here 98.1. We have force here. We have another force. CA, CB, and here is the angle theta is unknown. And what else? This angle is 30. One by one. One by one. Let's start with FCA. We have horizontal component, FCA. First step, we need to break each force to 2 components. FCA cosine 30, the vertical component FCA sine 30. What else? This force, we have another force. This one, FCB. So the horizontal component will be FCB cosine theta, both of them unknowns, FCB sine theta. What else? We have a vertical force, 98.1, which is vertical, so we don't have horizontal component is 0. Do you know what is the next step? Yes. These forces are in equilibrium. That means summation of all forces in X equals 0, because these forces are in equilibrium. So we have negative, this one is negative, FCA cosine 30. We have this one, which is positive, FCB cosine 30, cosine theta. We don't have horizontal component here, so plus 0 equals 0. First equation. Second one, summation of all forces in y direction equals 0. We have vertical component here, which is positive, FCA sine 30. We have positive direction here also, positive FCB sine theta. We have vertical component here, which is negative, negative 98.1 equals 0. Second problem. In math, we learned that number of unknowns must equal number of equations to be able to solve these unknowns. Do you like that? Number of unknowns equal number of equations. We have FCA unknown, FCB unknown, theta unknowns. So we have 3 unknowns, but we have 2 equations only. How can I solve for these unknowns? If you stopped, if you cannot continue, please go back to the problem and read it carefully. If cable CB is subjected to a tension that is twice that of cable CA. Wow, this sentence will give you a new equation. The force or the cable CB, that means force CB is subjected to a tension that is twice that of cable CA. So FCB equal to twice 2 force in cable CA or AC. So FCB equal to FCA, third equation. So we have 3 equations. I can solve them together. Probably you can remove CB from this equation and this one and put 2CA. So you will find these 2 equations will be function of FCA and the theta. So you can solve these unknowns and find the value of FCA, FCB, and theta. The third equation here coming from the problem. We have very important information given in the problem that the force or the cable CB, this cable, is subjected to a tension that is twice that of cable CA. So from this sentence, I can set up another equation to help me to find the unknowns. So guys, in this week, we have problems can be solved with 2 steps. First step, you need to break each force to 2 components. Second step, these forces are in equilibrium, summation of all horizontal component equals 0, summation of all vertical component equals 0. So probably you can set up two equations to solve for two unknowns or something else based on what is given in the problem.